Hello?
Hello, and indeed, welcome to a game of Dota 2. You're watching VirtusPro versus Quantic Gaming. VirtusPro on the dire side, Quantic Gaming on the radiant side. It is StarSeries, day 13, game 4 of the 4 games. So this is our last game of the evening. And of course, I'm not by myself, and indeed the one that you already heard, it is G Advance, or General Advance. And this is his first time co-casting with me. Welcome to the broadcast.
Thanks very much. Hello. And, yeah.
So, VirtusPro Quantic. Why are you looking forward to this game?
Because both teams have been so very unstable right now. Both teams have gone through pretty big roster changes. VirtusPro, they've got a star-studded lineup. They've got a lineup that looks on paper like it beats everything. And they haven't managed to work as a team properly so far. They haven't managed to really come up with their own style either. I mean, they're being drafted by Goblack, so it's always going to be an aggressive laning style. But other than that, we don't really have any sort of information on what really works for them.
I fully agree. VirtusPro have been kind of flaky. They were very strong up against Fnatic on Sunday, but I mean it's kind of hit or miss when what that is concerned. I do like that they're trying new lineups. So I mean they're the team to come up with new things, or to at least put new things together that we haven't seen before, and that's exactly what Quantic bans out the Abaddon, of course, which means that we're gonna have IO or Bet still.
Yeah, it's one of them is going to go through. Neither team is really known for using them. I think NS plays a very good Wisp. Obviously, I mean, everybody plays a good Batrider, so it's the Batrider being let through. I almost want to say that you would let through the Wisp, just because these teams are newer formed, and Wisp is a hero that you really need to grasp the teamwork aspect of using, but they opt to go for the Batrider.
Yeah.
Strong initiator.
Quantic having the Batrider indeed secured. Quantic, of course, I mean, I call them Quantic, but there's a little bit of controversy at the moment.
It's Flipside Quantic.
Mouse.
Exactly. It's 3 different teams, because Fata might have stand-in next to his name, but...
Yeah, but the thing is, everybody is still with their contract. I mean, that's
exactly.
what's going on right now. All the players are still with their contract of the organization.
It's a similar situation to Awe 2000 joining joining KaiP. I mean, I saw a message sent to him, and well, we can't say anything because of sponsorship and stuff. But VirtusPro actually picking up Prophet and Troll Warlord now, so some serious push coming out from them. Towers can dissolve pretty fast when, well, either of these heroes are on the map. Both combined is really a very scary situation for Quantic. If they don't pick up something to just shove them off the towers, even a Keeper of the Light, they might have to go really extreme.
Yeah, perhaps that's what Goblack wants to force out, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's a traditional Goblack style, isn't it? You know, win the lanes, crush all the towers, win in 20-30 minutes. The issue is getting the team to do that. I mean, you would say normally the team has... you know, it's got a lot of players who would get used to doing a lot of early game action. Both God as well as Resolution have both been on teams that really did a fair amount in the early game. And even NS, but they still haven't, despite the fact that they're getting good lineups, if weird lineups. I mean, the other day they had, what was it, Elder Titan, Centaur, Tusk and something else.
And Troll.
And Troll, yeah,
just
exactly.
Unkillable lineup, basically.
Yeah, it's basically a lineup that has very little in the way of initiation power. Yeah.
You have to turn on your microphone again in Dota TV, by the way.
Oh. Okay.
Toggle it on and off. Make sure that the green bar is
intended.
Yeah, is the green bar moving and it's on?
Yeah,
etc.
definitely.
Okay, just toggle it on and off once then. Sometimes that does the job. Please, people in Dota TV, let us know if you can now hear G Advance.
Apologies to Dota TV if you couldn't. Apologies to Dota TV if you can.
But they won't hear you. Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah.
Exactly. I don't know. There's not much I can say to them.
Well, we'll see. I told the chat at least that they should let us know in 2 minutes. We've got a Darkseer ban out for Quantic, so they're not.
They're not revealing their lanes.
Yeah.
Is one thing. It's very important to do that in the current drafting phase, because with the way that you have these sort of 2 bans in the middle and then the final band at the end, if you reveal exactly what you're doing in the sort of first 2 picks, it's very easy to get counterpicked now. A lot easier than it used to be.
Yeah, and the thing is, VirtusPro is revealing their lineup, so they could get counterpicked, but maybe that's part of what they want to do. Maybe they want to bait out stuff from Quantic that is like they're totally going to change up their draft with the next 3 picks that they're going to do.
Exactly, and Darkseer is a strong ban out from the side of Quantic, because if you're running a push lineup, you need some sort of team fight to back it up, because otherwise the enemy team just sort of runs into you and you lose. Like, if you can't run a push lineup without any anti-push at all.
I'm just checking if someone says there might not be any delay, so... No, there is delay. Oh, fine. There was one day earlier this week where my delay indeed got reset, which was kind of scary.
Oops.
Yeah, then I had to, of course, restart my stream. But there is delay, so everything is good. We've got a Bane band out. I like that, because Goblak just really likes that hero.
Yeah, it's a hero... Yeah, and it's another hero that says we'll win the lanes. And speaking of which, Spirit Breaker pickup. I mean, first 15 minutes of the game, Quantic are maybe in a seriously struggling position, but they pick up Gyrocopter, which is the hero that does kind of well versus Spirit Breaker, because, I mean, you're going to run straight into the Gyrocopter if you try to gank him. And generally, you're going to be fairly alone if you do that. And Rocket Barrage does a lot of damage. It can seriously hurt. Even level 1 Rocket Barrage on its own does, I mean, something ridiculous amount of damage. 10 rockets per second, lasting 3 seconds, and doing 110 damage each.
Yeah, and they have now also a Lifestealer to infest in that Spirit Breaker, so I guess even if Spirit Breaker dies by the Rocket Barrage, Lifestealer will be there to take over and jump out and get the kill.
They're basically saying, right now, we want to run into you, and we want to do some serious damage, because they have 3 heroes now that hit incredibly hard and all scale very, very well off attack speed, which is something that Troll Warlord gives them with his ultimate. Lifestealer, the way his damage scales is essentially from Feast. And the way that you scale, well, you don't exactly scale your damage on Spirit Breaker, but you want to bash more. You know, you want to be able to lock people down just from bashing them repeatedly. And Troll Warlord's going to give them a higher chance to do that.
Reserve time.
It's very scary. The thing about a Spirit Breaker, I like Spirit Breaker as support. He is making for a fun map. I mean, there's action all over. As in, I like him to watch, because if he's on my other team in my game, I don't like him at all.
No,
but
nobody enjoys playing against Spirit Cow, because he runs at you and he beats your face in, and unless you're playing a pretty scary hero, he wins.
Exactly. So, but the thing is, Spirit Breaker, if he's playing as a support, you know, then he doesn't really get that much items, and of course he's going to be scary with ganking. But if he doesn't play... If he's played as indeed a bit of a carry, he takes farm, he gets himself a Mask of Madness. And that's an item that he gets for free right now with the ultimate of the Troll Warlord, without the negative effect.
He doesn't need it, and a Mask of Madness is basically, it's a Mask of Suicide in some sense. You run in with 30% extra damage coming off onto you. If the enemy team have any sort of allies in the area and you have a Mask of Madness Spirit Breaker, you die. But now they don't need that, because they have Troll Warlord. Combine it with Lifestealer as well, they can go run off and gank people as soon as they want to.
10 seconds.
This is a serious amount of damage coming out from VirtusPro, and Quantic now pick up a Timbersaw, which
I like
is...
this though.
Timbersaw makes a lot of sense in this, not just because he's a very strong hero, he's a very strong mid laner. He's one of the few that can sort of, you know, stand up versus any matchup, that can just... because he's very hard to kill with reactive armor early on. But as well as that, he's also very, very strong for turtling. It's not something that's really noticed too much by people, but Chakram is a really, really good spell for dealing with things like Nature's Prophet and Troll Warlord. It kills off all the creeps, and if you don't have creeps, you don't want to try and fight through. And that is
team fight upon team fight.
Just team fight upon damage. VirtusPro's lineup, you don't want to go near these guys right now. I mean, it's not even that you don't want to go near them, because you don't know where they're coming from. Spirit Breaker's going to be charging across the map. AA can hit an ultimate from anywhere on you as well. It's a semi-global lineup. They also have Nature's Prophet plus Lifesteal. It's pretty much a global lineup right now.
Yeah, it's scary. It's scary. I do like the Enigma. I give some team fight for Quantic as well. I mean, they realize, like, okay, you know what? They're going to run at us. What are we going to do? We're going to put them in a black hole, put a Chakram over the top and a Whirling Death, and maybe they die. That's their hope.
Quantic's lineup is a really traditional lineup, and, you know, it makes a lot of sense from that. Well, I say traditional. They have things like Timbersaw and such. But, you know, their lineup has all the different key elements that you normally look for in your sort of average lineup. VP, it's full on, we do this one thing, we have to do it really, really well. We're going to push down your towers and we're going to kill you a lot for the first sort of 30, 40 minutes. Even then, they have the backup coming from the fact that if G gets pretty much anything, and if their Lifestealer and their other heroes get pretty much anything, they can still do a lot of damage in the late game, but they don't have, like, they don't have lots of different elements to their team. It's mostly just a sort of face rush lineup.
Very true. Let's see who's playing what. I'll start off with Quantic. They're, of course, on the Radiant side. And, of course, in case you forgot, we're watching StarSeries. It is Season 7. It is Day 13. This is Game 4 of 4. And we are seeing Quantic taking on VirtusPro. Quantic on the Radiant side will have Calavra, who is actually Shoxka. So Shoxka playing the Gyrocopter. He'll be farming on the bottom lane. He'll be supported by Mania. on the Visage. In the mid lane, we'll have well, we won't have fucking Mad in the mid lane. He'll go to the jungle, but we'll see what he does in the mid lane here. Probably just
He's probably just
warding.
waiting to deny a creep. If you can deny anything from
Yeah.
a troll board, it's that.
But of course, he also just wants to probably place some wards. There we go.
Yeah.
And we've got Fada. Of course, he'll play the mid lane. He is still tagged as a stand-in. Of course, he will be playing the Timbersaw. And then last but not least, it is Miguel on the top lane. He'll be playing the Bear Rider.
Alright, and on the side of VirtusPro, we have NS as well as Godblack. That's going to be the support combination for the team. They're going to be on the Spirit Breaker as well as the AA. Resolution, he's going to be the carry for the team, picking up the Lifestealer, traditionally a mid player. Mid for the team, though, they have God. He's picking up the Troll Warlord. Strong matchup for him. And last but not least, the offlaner, but starting in the jungle, is going to be Light of Heaven, rushing up a Midas. Exciting Dota from him, then.
Yeah, look at that. Actually, G, the mid lane player, has pulled a Clarity for the Nature's Prophet.
That seems really weird, but this is something that VP have done a little bit, is they pull stuff all over the map. I mean, you say that, but Godblack has also given Tangos and a Salve
Yep.
to the Troll Warlord, and the Troll Warlord started off with a Wraith Band, so even though he's had to pull, he's actually at an advantage as far as the sort of effective starting gold that he's gotten. Which is,
Basically,
I mean,
instead
really
of a branch.
weird. Yeah, he's not gotten branches or anything, but he's got his Wraith Band, which is a fair amount. It's not as possibly as good in the mid lane sometimes as maybe as a Ring of Basilius might be, as the Ring of Basilius helps you shove the wave out a little bit, which means that getting runes and such can be a little bit easier, but with the supports on the map as well, then they'll probably use them to get a fair number of runes.
Yeah, of course, I mean, on the bottom lane, we have got the Gyrocopter free farming, and on top lane, it's in Lifestealer free farming. I'm curious to see if Resolution wants to go for a Hand of Midas in this matchup, or if he just wants to go full out and just go for damage, go for ganks early on, and tag along with an S. Because when is an S going to lead his first charge? It's not going to be, like, Timbersaw's not the easiest one to gank. And that's his,
No.
that's a bit of a, maybe a tricky thing for VirtusPro in this case. How are they going to start their aggression? Because we know that they want aggression. I mean, their whole lineup screams aggression.
Yeah, their entire lineup screams aggression. Even if he does go really early, just to sort of zone out Fatter and make him feel scared in the lane, it probably won't matter, because the thing is that, I mean, Spirit Breaker, he starts off with 5 armor as well as, 800 and odd HP. He's an incredibly tanky hero in the early game. He can basically run under the tower, even against a Timbersaw, who does more damage versus strength heroes, just to sort of, see if maybe we can kill him. So he doesn't have to be too scared about, overdoing it. I mean, that's kind of the thing on Spirit Breaker. You overdo it all the time.
We'll see though if that reactive armor is not going to stop them too much. Of course, G has to be in a position to help out as well, who's now, by the way, completely burned off his regen. He did manage to pick up a bottle. And Fada,
Yeah,
of course,
Fata's doing a
also
really good
bottle.
job here of just continuously using Whirling Death, of making use out of the fact that G, unless he's in melee form, he doesn't do very much damage to Fata at all because he's got a stout shield, and he gets extra HP from the reactive armor. But
They've got his
speaking of
charge.
which, he's being charged already here.
Yeah, let's see if an S can make something happen. They only have an SNG to help out with. There's only one charge. In comes Light of Heaven with the TP. Is it gonna be enough? Doesn't look like it. We have got first blood though. G gets the last hit in the end, and fucking Matt comes in too late. Malefice still up on G, but it doesn't matter. Advantage going the way of G.
Yeah, and that they really need something like that as early as possible in this, because Light of Heaven, the Nature's Prophet doesn't make a huge amount of sense in their lineup. They're not looking to split push and stuff. They want him to be able to get into the game as fast as possible. Getting involved in kills like that is really important. And of course, shutting down Fata as well, because he's able to turtle, he's able to, get in between their lineup and do a lot of damage to them as well. They don't want him to get a good start. They really need a good start themselves, so first blood for them, pretty important.
Yep, so far so good, I'd say. We have got, of course, also in a matchup that is fairly passive in terms of having safe tri lanes on both sides. And of course,
Yeah.
I mean, of course, Spirit Breaker makes it a little bit less passive, but the levels on supports is actually going to be really important. We're going to need the Visages, Familiars up very, very early on, because Mania is going to be an important factor in trying to slow down pushes if they come. And of course, Enigma needs to have his Black Hole off. I'm not really calling him a support, and actually they smoke up, so they might be looking for something. We still actually
Yeah.
have a Hand of Midas for Resolution, so maybe they're planning on making it a bit more
Resolution.
longer game than they think, than we
Well,
thought.
the thing is, their lineup is very, very aggressive, but more in the way that it can play the team fights. Because the thing is, they have a Troll Warlord, and they have a and they have all these carry heroes in the late game, they can still fight in the late game. It's just not as easy for them to do.
They go for G. There's a Malefice. There it is. And there comes the Mania as well with the extra speed. This is gonna be a kill. Nicely done, or should it be nicely done? Oh my god, I thought for a second there that he was gonna live.
Did Fata cancel his animation? It looked like he did no damage.
Right.
And almost let him get away.
Oh, but he almost did let him get away. I think he lost line of sight for a second. Perhaps that was the case. In comes an S with the charge. He gets Maleficed. Goblik there to help out though. Should have gone for an S, but
that was a bit. You were never going to really get that kill on NS. There was nothing to get from that. I think he just charged from when he saw that, you know, maybe G was coming in, TPing back into the lane, but it's mistimed, and it can be a little bit difficult to time those Spirit Breaker charges. He's actually maxing Charge of Darkness, which is a little bit of an unusual choice. It does mean, I mean, you're playing against very, very high skill level players here. It's very, very possible that they can turn around and stun you, or, you know, whatever, in the sort of time that you come out from charge, if it's only 600 move speed. If you max it up, then he's going to do more.
Yeah, you'd expect him to at least get 1 point in Empowering Haste. I mean, it increases everything else.
It's a really, really strong passive, especially considering that they have 3 melee heroes in their team who really want to get right in the middle of their fights. G not for the moment, because, you know, he wants a BKB or some level of survivability. That's really an issue with Troll Warlord. He's very, very strong for multiple reasons, but he has some significant HP issues, and he often just gets stunned during the use of Battle Trance, and then just sort of wastes his time.
We've got Light of Heaven, by the way, having enough money for Hand of Midas now of his own. Picks it up. So we've got 2 Hand of Midases up on VirtusPro. That means they should, in theory, be getting ahead in terms of gold. And of course, that's an important thing because they need to try and roll Quantic over without really
it's a
giving them a
snowball
chance.
lineup. They don't want to be able to fall behind in gold at any real point in the game. It doesn't matter that they're getting Hand of Midases now, because a lot of times you think, oh, you can't go a Hand of Midas on an early game lineup because you're worried about the fact that you're basically spending 1,900 gold on, you know, what is it, 15 attack speed or 30 attack speed. But the difference is they got their Hand of Midas up really, really fast. I mean, a Nature's Prophet picking up his Hand of Midas before the 7-minute mark is very fast indeed, even for one that's pulled.
Yeah, and Lifestealer, of course, having his all ready for quite a while. We do have Miguel getting charged right now. He just turned level 6, but he's going to regret showing his face here if it's up to an S. Nicely flown to the high ground for Miguel with his last second of Firefly. And Resolution actually taking quite a bit of harassment here from the tower.
Yeah, he's taken a fair amount of damage for that. And if you look, Miguel's actually really highly leveled, considering he's an off-lane Batrider, which isn't the greatest. I mean, it's still a Batrider, so it's very, very strong in the lane anyway. But he's level 6.5 at 7 minutes in. I mean, you would not expect that for an off-lane that actually sits in the lane most of the time, because most of the time they get sort of thrown out of the lane. They get harassed out of the lane, they get zoned out of the lane. But Spirit Breaker, not a great zoning hero, and Ancient Apparition, really an awful zoning hero. I mean, you trade with an Ancient Apparition, the Ancient Apparition just dies. He just sort of melts.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Goblik has really shown himself on the lane at all at any point. He's just jungling together with Light of Heaven. It does cause Light of Heaven a bit of experience, but because he has a Hand of Midas, he doesn't really care all too much, and it's good to help Goblik get his levels up.
He's not concerned about going behind in experience at all. He has a Hand of Midas, he's got it exceedingly fast, and he's just waiting for his mid-game impact. Both of these teams, I mean, it's interesting to see where Quantic want to try and actually start taking fights. I mean, it almost feels like a lineup where versus VP, they might never actually want to take a fight, and that could be a very dangerous thing when you simply sit, you know, you go at the 20-minute mark, okay, can we take fights now? No, because we'll get destroyed by the fact they have Spirit Breaker and God and stuff, and then, you know, you get to the 40-minute mark, and speaking of which, G being gone on the mid lane, he's been slowed down, but he has getting charge support in, but he's going to go down to Fata.
And it still goes down too fast. In comes still support though. Lifestealer coming in as well. Opening up. This might be a bad decision, but he rages up. Will live through it. And Gyrocopter will end up going down. Resolution infest, but it's too late. It is already Spirit Breaker that dies. Mania will end up going down. Goblik still alive on this, but I don't think it's going to last for very much longer. 4 heroes dead. 4 heroes came in, or sorry, 3 heroes came in, I guess, after G already died. Yeah. 4 dead. That's so not worth it for VirtusPro.
It looked like really good timing at one point, because the Spirit Breaker hit just as the Lifestealer got his TP to come off. So they both hit at the same time, but the fact is, Fata didn't die. And if you don't kill a Timbersaw in a situation like that, you can't evade his damage. There's a ton of trees in that area. He's going to be hitting you with Chakram. He's going to be hitting you with the pure damage version of Whirling Death. And he hit with Timber
They're going to fight though. Already one down. Fado should be able to get himself out of there, and
Oh, he misuses the timber chain then. He actually hits a tree that's right next to him. I don't think either team expected that because...
You saw Ness walking back for a second and realizing, wait, what happened?
He's like, wait, whoa, he made a mistake that bad? Oh, I've lost it now.
Yeah, Fada, of
Gold
course,
Black
I
and
mean,
G
yeah.
spending a lot of time trying to get these Visage Familiars. They are like 200 gold, so that was pretty worth it for them.
Yeah.
I think one of them was resummoned though. So.
Well, yeah, we
No,
don't have any familiars anymore on the map for another 100 seconds. Mania doesn't have a
That's
cooldown
a lot of
anymore.
map control, considering the ganking sort of aggressive global lineup. I mean, they're basically like flying wards that also hurt people.
Charge. Going up for the Gyrocopter. Is there going to be any more support? In comes the Nether Strike as well.
Oh, the ulti's hit as well.
Line of Heaven helping out. This should be a shatter regardless. Gyrocopter.
It's going to shatter from this, but the NS is going to go down. Light of Heaven just TPs out and says bye.
I actually think he won't shatter. No, he won't shatter. He's still alive.
Oh, that is... He must have had like 1 or 2 HP more than you would have before the shatter then. That's very surprising.
And on the top lane, Lifestealer goes down by a, by Black Hole and a Lasso, so they use both of the ultis for that. We, by the way, have the Blink Dagger up on Miguel as well. But this is starting to get a bit out of control for VirtusPro, because we already said earlier, they need to be getting a good early start. They need to be snowballing this, and they're not looking like they are. We have the gold in favor of Quantic.
At 11 minutes.
Yeah, 4k gold, and no towers down on the side of Quantic whatsoever, while there's already 2 towers down on the side of VirtusPro. This is not looking good for VirtusPro.
No, but they do have the advantage that they can just simply say, any point we can 5-man and guarantee that we kill a tower in, 5 seconds or so. Especially if they can just sort of try and burn Glyph beforehand. If they can sort of fake out that they're going for one tower and then go for something else, then they could very quickly burn down a tower. But it's not going to be enough gold, and they're going to have to 5-man at some point with this lineup. I mean, obviously Goblak and Light of Heaven don't need to be there, but the rest of them are going to need to be, and they're looking a bit thin on the ground with only 3 heroes actually sort of going right into the fights that can afford to be there. I mean, Goblak, he doesn't want to be anywhere near the enemy team, of course, and Light of Heaven, he'll just sort of TP around, but he's still very squishy at this stage of the game as well.
Yeah, and they've got 2 of the 3 that you mentioned are, of course, strength heroes, and if they walk into a Timber Saw, they're going to be a bit sad. We're going to have them going on Miguel, maybe still, though. He's getting charged, Resolution already there. Miguel will still be going down. In comes an 8 ulti. Fucking Matt, though, will not be hit by that one, and in comes Fada. Down goes Spirit Breaker. Infest inside a creep, but it's a deniable creep. Resolution. Does he have a range? No, he does not. 2 kills for 1.
That anyway. Even with Rage then, even if he tried to Rage TP away, Fata has more than enough mana to chase after him with Timber Chain. He's got 4 levels in it now. He's very highly leveled. Level 11 already at this point, and moving towards his Bloodstone. He actually picked up Power Treads, which is a bit of an unusual choice. And in the meantime...
Yeah, bottom lane. Oh, and he gets himself out. TPs himself out under the hands of the Troll, who can't really do that much apart from trying to bash, and if he doesn't get lucky, no bash. It is 10 to 5. This is trouble for VirtusPro. Kind of curious to see what kind of move they want to make next, if they just want to wait it out. I mean, they have 2 heroes with Hand of Midases. They should be able to get their gold back up. Late game, however, actually late game they look pretty strong as well, in terms of split push at least. 5-on-5 team fights will not be going their way, but split push potential, definitely there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what G goes for. I mean, obviously he's going to try and pick up a BKB, but if he tries to pick up a Shadow Blade or something like that, he'll be able to add to that split push a little bit better. He will have some serious mana issues and such, but he might just try sort of a, more of a fighting lineup, something like a Manta style even.
We'll see what he
But
ends
he's
up
pretty
going
far
for.
behind on items right now. I mean, he's only just picked up the Ogre Club.
Well, we're gonna assume that the Troll probably still wants to have his BKB, and then also, of course, the Helm of the Dominator, get himself some lifesteal, the core items of the Troll. When he has that, oh, actually, they're charging bottom. They want to try and go for this. They're charging
They're
up
going
on
very
the gyro.
aggressive here, but they can TP multiple people into this. This could be really dangerous if they time this wrong.
Yeah,
They've
and already
hit the
comes the
AO ultimate, and there
TPs.
comes the TPs.
Gyrocopter still taking a lot of damage, but still not dead, and Nesta wants to burst down first. G, Lasso, try to TP out, not gonna be able to. 2 hit kills going the way of VirtusPro, or going the way of Quantic rather, dying on VirtusPro, and
Quantic side.
this is Quantic's game right now.
It's really in Quantic's game right now, and the fact is, they're playing a much more reliable lineup. They're playing a lineup that any team could play, so they don't have to think about things so much more. They don't have to plan their things so much more. They don't have to sort of worry about their execution so much, because, I mean, this is something that it's a classical execution, isn't it? They have things like Black Hole and Timbersaw and such, which, you know, people have been playing a lot recently. Whereas on the side of VP, and speaking of which,
The Light of Heaven.
Sochka possibly going to go down to this. Light of Heaven's not TPing in, but they do have the charge going
The
on.
Light of Heaven is already dead, so he cannot TP in. Shokska can't, well, he TP's home. He realized he was being charged, and that's the Spirit Breaker cancelling his charge. Black Hole used for fucking Matt, making sure that he gets himself a solo kill. Good one though, because of course, if he didn't, there might have been a TP from Light of Heaven towards that Radiant jungle to help the Spirit Breaker, but fucking Matt, I mean, he's level 11, he's got himself a mechanism, he's got treads building towards what probably is going to be a Blink Dagger, and Quantic looking pretty comfortable in their lineup. We've got the level 9 on the Visage. We have, by the way, got levels. I mean, level 9 on the Visage is the lowest level on the side of Quantic, while there's 3 heroes that are lower level than him on the side of VirtusPro.
That's pretty significant, and that's something they need a lot on their lineup. They need a lot of levels, and they need that advantage, and they're not getting it. Is that glyph burn for them? Are they going to try and... I mean, this is the issue. That as soon as the enemy team turns up, they've fallen behind like this. They have a lineup that basically has to run into you versus a Timbersaw, which is very, very dangerous indeed. Timbersaw, speaking of which, has picked up a really strange item build here.
I love it.
It's actually really smart, considering, you know, you're against 3 melee heroes. They have things like Empowering Haste and stuff, so we're going to be fast before, but Rod of Atos, it's a 60% cripple slow.
Oh.
It's a lot.
Blink Lasso, Light of Heaven, you're already dead. Can't do anything. Luckily for
Very
him, he
quick
just
kill.
used his Hand of Midas. Because of course,
Yeah,
last time he
that's-
died, he had the Hand of Midas on cooldown, off cooldown, sitting in the
Yeah.
base.
It's some level of respite, but it's still a really significant problem, because the fact is that they have a very hard to execute lineup. They have a lineup that, you know, has to get something done, and they're not getting anything done. Speaking of which, though, NS is charging in now.
They're
He's going to be
trying.
running into multiple heroes. He's actually initiating on the Visage.
Yeah, in comes the A ulti. That should be a kill. That's one down. Maybe they can get some more open wounds up on the
think they can
gyro.
get Sochka from
Rocket
this.
Barrage
They don't
already
have the ulti
used.
from
They
Netherstrike,
should be
though.
able to get this. One more hit needed. Resolution chasing him down. He gets a kill. That's 2 down on the side of VirtusPro. They still lose their AA. Miguel taking some damage, flying to the low ground, but the Urn Charge should be taking him down. Perhaps he can deny himself to neutrals, or perhaps nah, he will die. One more tick, there he goes. And Fada now, that's the next target. Tries to Timber Chain himself away. Light of Heaven 3 is actually blocking him, and he will end up
Almost
dropping.
taken out
This
by
is a
Light of
good
Heaven,
fight.
NS and G from that, though.
Oh, maybe Familiars can get themselves a triple kill. No, they will go down. Look at
That was...
the light.
That was...
HP points. The hell?
That was very, very scary then. Fata, he came in from right behind the enemy team, and I don't think they knew what was happening. I think they lost their AA to him, and then they sort of ignored that because it's a support hero, whatever. Support heroes die at this point because we're behind. And then the lifesteal, he gets a lot of damage up on the 3 heroes then, all stuck right on top of the Timbersaw.
Poor Light of Heaven. He tried to TP himself out, but in comes Gyro with the Rocket Barrage, with the cooldown. It's not possible anymore. Here comes the charge, by the way, up on the Gyrocopter then with the 2 of them.
And Resolution coming in, and the AA ulti's going to hit as well, but BKB used, and they're just going to say no.
Yeah,
we can't do
they're
that.
running. Rainbow of TPs.
BKB and the entire lineup just turns up as well.
Yeah, at least they know that the BKB is on cooldown right now for quite a while. There's also, of course, the 10-second BKB used. Home Missile still chasing down on S. He's fairly fast though.
Yeah, they're not gonna chase after this.
Or
unless
are
they're
they?
really going for this?
Fucking
That's
mad,
pretty-
blinks forward. He doesn't have enough mana for a black hole now though, and I think that's gonna be a sad thing for him, is he's gonna get
Miguel's jumped
harassed
in
by
for Lasso as
Resolution.
well.
Mechanism helps out. Lasso used indeed. Nether Strike, Soul Subject comes in. Whoa, and S still gets bursted down. AA already picked up as well. Fucking mad lives for now.
Fucking Mad is an appropriate name, because that was
pretty
a
mad.
very, very confident dive then, considering that they have a global lineup. Yes, the AA wasn't up, but they knew that Nature's Prophet is there. They have multiple heroes that can do significant damage to you and could burst you down pretty fast. But it was a pretty confident move, and it ended up working out for him.
I really
And
thought VirtusPro was gonna come back from this. Like, they looked good after last fight, and they just run themselves in and basically suicide.
Yeah, it's a really hard to execute lineup, and that's the problem. Is they're going up against Quantic, who are playing, you know, heroes who are tried and tested, heroes who are tried and tested in combination with each other. Yeah, we can say Spirit Breaker. He's had plenty of games recently, and he's been pretty strong in them. We've seen Troll Warlord being pretty strong. Have we seen a lineup like this though, where they're all 3 together with the Lifestealer as well? It's very.
Oh,
It's
Visage.
very, very confident to pick up all those heroes like that without sort of almost practicing them before. I mean, sure they might have.
The Visage is getting charged. Infested Lifestealer there. In comes Gyrocopter. BKB turned on. They're not going to chase that one. They still get the Visage. Here comes fucking Matt. He has got a Black Hole. He has got a Blink as well. Goes for Malefice. Light of Heaven will be the target. Light of Heaven will be dead. There's no doubt about that one. His team leaves him to rot. Everybody scatters. Delta split from VirtusPro. Or is it?
Goblak's going to go down as well.
Yeah.
Miguel going on top of him.
Lasso for him. That's going to be another kill added to the board for Quantic. It is now 20-10.
That's a really, really significant difference. And the last hits, the Midases at this point, they're not making a difference. Right now, it's the fact that they've lost tons and tons of towers. They've taken one, which is the tier 1 on the safe lane at the side of Quantic, and they've lost a ton of fights as well. It's looking really bad for VP right now, because the fact is that Quantic, you know, VP can go, oh, you know, we're losing, we'll just 5-man. Quantic can do the same thing, and they have to try and split push somehow. G is doing that now, but...
And a lot of them coming in, I mean, thinking that this is indeed a pushing lineup on VirtusPro. In comes a Malefice, by the way. G might be in some trouble here. There's still a Black Hole up. I don't think he wants to use it for it. In comes a charge. Going for the Gyrocopter. They might try to turn this around. Gyrocopter already dead. In comes a Black Hole with 2 though. Soul Assumption up on Light of Heaven, but it is Mania that is the only one that is doing the damage. G,
no damage
where are you?
Up the Black Hole. Where is the team?
Yeah.
Where is the Timbersaw, for instance? He's just turning up to the fight now. He does manage to get the Chakram on 3, but Resolution, he doesn't seem to care. They're just going to murder the tower.
Yeah, why murder if a Timbersaw that you think you can't kill anyways? Fair enough. I have to say, G walked back. I really think that he could have still helped out a bit more.
It was really actually quite expertly timed then, because the rocket was just about to hit G, so he had the choice of either turning into the rocket, but speaking of which...
Yeah, we already have G down. Timbersaw chasing him down. Bedrider will still die for him though, so it's a trade. 4 dead. There's only a Timbersaw left alive here for Quantic, and it's not enough to kill us alive here, though it was
Resolution
so close.
Just got out of that one. It's surprising, because it's not like Lifestealer is, you know, a squishy hero. And Timbersaw does a ton of damage to him there. He TP'd right next to trees as well, which is, I mean, it's a little bit questionable. It's not the sort of thing that you think about often, but it makes a significant difference when it's a Timbersaw, because he can possibly burn down a couple of those trees, use the Timber Chain to jump into you, as well as throw Chakram. He's got 3 spells that he can throw off all at the same time, do a ton of damage to you. He almost took him down in the time that he was TPing.
And by the way, Lifestealer is not doing that bad in terms of net worth. He is highest on the list. Of course, there's 4 from Quantic following him, but...
I hadn't even checked their net worth, and that's really surprising.
Yeah.
Because they've been losing fights left, right, and center, but he is 1-3-7 with a Midas. It's sort of inevitable that he's going to get relatively farm, but...
He's still 4 towers behind.
Yeah, there's 4 towers behind. That's a... If they can manage to pick off those towers, people like NS and G are going to get back into this game and are going to be able to do some significant damage.
Yeah, we've got a Vlad's now up on the Nature's Prophet just to help his Troll Warlord, who has got, by the way, got his BKB ready, and they're going to try to smoke Roshan, a typical Goblak thing to do. If you're behind, you go Roshan, although right now Quantic realizes what's going on. He is in a Firefly, the smoke has been popped, and VirtusPro runs themselves back out again, no surprise there. But they are going to try to contest it. It's very tough to contest a Roche when you have an Enigma on the other team though, but we'll see how successful they will become.
Quantic really want them to take this, but they have to position themselves in... They have to sort of purposely position themselves in a bad way, because otherwise VP are just never going to run into that pick, because they know it's suicide. The only one who's not going to be there is going to be Goblak, and at this point he doesn't really provide much to the team other than, you know, Chilling Touch and Ice Blast. Of course Ice Blast is always good, but...
Yeah, so far the familiar scouting out the Roche pit. We do have a 1 ward standing for VirtusPro. So far VirtusPro is the only one that actually has wards on the map. Actually no, there's one in the dire jungle from the Radiant team. We're gonna see VirtusPro
really
trying the tower again though. Oh, they get him. This is the opening for split push for Light of Heaven. You need to have
the more towers you take down, the easier it is to split push.
Exactly. Tier 2 towers down means Tier 3 towers under siege the moment that there is a fight happening somewhere on the top lane, and they're actually going to maybe try. They have got an infested Lifestealer sitting in an S, and they're going to charge up. Charging up against Fada. He will run past some creep wards though, so Fada will know that this is going on.
He's been spotted out. You can even see the things then. Miguel actually tried to jump on top of him, but was bashed out by the charge. As it runs through things, it bashes, so...
Yeah,
Miguel might actually be in danger now. But he's up to the high ground there. They don't know what's on top of that high ground. NS just doesn't want to go for that one. He doesn't want to throw away his carry's life as well, because I mean, that is essentially what NS can do at this point. You know, he's got his carry inside of him. If he puts himself in a bad position, he basically throws away the lifestealer too. But they're going to try for the Roche again, not opting to smoke for it because, I mean, they're using the Troll Warlord's ultimate. They're just going to try and burst this down really fast.
Well, they're backing off already. Too scary. Everybody around in the mid lane for Quantic, too close by. You have a Blink Dagger of a fucking mad. It's one blink, one black hole. Could end the game for Quantic if they can get a good one.
Exactly. They need to be really, really careful with this VP lineup, and this is a really sensible move. As soon as the enemy start trying to look to 5-man and push, then they threw out the Ice Blast, and they managed to hit almost. It looked like they were going to hit 5, but they only actually managed to hit 2 heroes in the end. So, not actually a significant end to their push then, because they really don't want to fight. VP really don't want to fight Quantic 5-on-5 right now, because if they do that and they lose the fight, they lose the game, like right here.
Yeah.
It's only 25 minutes in. Losing their racks at this point could be pretty much game-ending if
Goblak.
Goblak's been initiated on.
That's already one down, 4 to go.
He does have buyback,
He
so he's
uses
immediately going to buy back into this.
Yeah, G already lost half of his damage, or half of his health points. Down goes NS. He charged in, got himself killed for BKB already popped though. Buyback also from NS. They got the buybacks out, which is great.
With
In
the
comes,
buyback,
oh, Open
wasting
Wounds
the,
Mania. Why is he still around? He'll go down. Last one there. Maybe it was a fake
With
back
the
though.
buyback?
Blink forward. Miguel doesn't have a lasso just yet. BKB turned on now by G, looking for a target. Fada seems to be the target. Nether Strike there as well. The black hole. It catches only Goblak though, and in comes the bash. Down goes the Timbersaw. Fucking mad, looking for a way out. Gets chased down by Resolution and NS. Will end up dropping here. Open Wounds helping out for that one. In the meantime, Miguel is chasing down G. G gets himself to the high ground, but just barely. While Shokska and Miguel looking for an opening still. Maybe looking for some flat cannon damage that they can do. Oh, Resolution gets himself out. Will be fine.
Quantic decides to spend so many buybacks considering they're in an advantageous position. They don't need to use them up like that. But VirtusPro's NS has put himself in a really bad position here going into Kevlara. But G, he's backing up for his team, and Mouse is faster now. Manages to take him out. Resolution in a very dangerous position here, but he's going to continue going onto Sochka here. He does manage to take him out in the back lines of play. And they lose their Troll Warlord and their Spirit Breaker for it.
Yeah.
Resolution goes down in this.
Oh,
He could go down to
Fada.
Fata here.
He's still not done. He's still got that Athos to try and help out, slow people down. There's the Athos. Look at how slow
Goblak
Goblak
is
is.
Athos.
You're so dead, Goblak. I think. Ooh, Familiar Stun helping out. Malef helping out. That's going to be Enigma with a kill. 3 dead on the side of VirtusPro with Resolution. Just an inch of his life. I mean, they get the gyrocopter, but look at this. Quantic, they don't care about that gyrocopter. They can push by
and
themselves.
VP spent all their buybacks in the last fight, and then immediately went for a fight that was very, very dangerous to go for. They didn't know where Fata was. He turned up for the fight, and, you know, he basically took out 3 heroes for them. At least they're low level, so they've got short respawn times.
Yeah, that helps.
There's always an upside, right?
There's always an upside.
They're not even going to bother taking out the range racks here. It's not even worth it for them. NS is going very aggressive again, though. He's just going to get stunned up by the Familiars. Might even be initiated on, but they decide to back out here, despite the fact they had 3 heroes. Could have maybe kited around the Lifestealer then.
Look at this A ulti though, brilliantly placed. If NS catches someone,
NS is actually trying to Nether Strike one.
Yeah, he finds Mania. Mania gets forced up into safety. Still get chased down by Resolution. Resolution putting the lasso, the Light of Heaven coming to TP in.
Up for this as well.
That will be Mania dead. Resolution inside the chakram. No more rage for another 6 seconds. Can't get away. Will go down. Now Fada maybe in some trouble. Barrider still alive. It gets away with an inch of his HP. Light of Heaven will drop, and Fada is just wrecking the place right now. And Ness will get picked up. G, last one alive together with Goblak. Goblak not in this fight though.
Getting out of this as well, and they've lost basically another 5 heroes now because, I mean, Goblak essentially means nothing this game. He can throw out his ultimate, and that's pretty much it. It's going to feel like 5 heroes for them. There's no real way he can defend the base. And if he goes anywhere near the enemy team, he's going to instantly die. And for that, they're going to lose Roshan as well. So it's a really big loss for them.
Yeah, I mean, I think that much was clear. It's 32 to 20. It's 10k gold now in favor of Quantic. This is starting to look like it's almost impossible for VirtusPro to come back from unless Quantic makes some giant mistakes. They do now, like Quantic has now got also a Scythe of Vice up on the Timbersaw, who opted not to go for Bloodstone at all this game. But a Scythe of Vice and a Rod of Athos gives him the same amount of regen, perhaps? Same amount of mana. He doesn't.
It's close to it. He's just a little bit below
Yeah.
where he would be. He's been involved in... He's got 15 kills and 8 assists. He would have had a lot of Bloodstone charges if he went for one. But it's also less utility as an item. I mean, Sheepstick can completely lock someone down. I mean, they can move slightly. And the slow coming out from the other, I mean, it doesn't stop them casting or instance or trying to do anything. But the Rod of Atos, it's a really good item when you're ahead like this as well. And when you're being aggressive on the enemy team.
Ooh, Black Hole just for resolution. Can they actually take him down? They go actually for G resolution. Black Hole didn't really hurt him, but it did hurt G because he was the only target that they actually went for. Resolution now getting hexed up, killed off. And Ness still here, goes for another strike up on Fada, but it doesn't really matter. And Ness dies. Goblak tries to get himself out of there. Light of Heaven still alive in this as well, as Resolution actually buys back. Oh, Chakram doesn't reach Goblak. Close though. Resolution buying back. If he dies here again, this should be game. Resolution will end up going down. This is kind of game.
There's no real way of coming back from this. It really, before they took Roshan even, they pretty much had to rely on Quantic sort of wandering around outside their base on their own. I mean, that's pretty much what they had to rely on. They really needed the kills, they needed the gold. They also needed to try and get more towers down, and really, it was just smart play from Quantic this, with TPing people in whenever they were jumped on by VP's lineup.
Yeah, it's pretty scary, and I mean the potential is there, right? I mean you see Nature's Prophet, Life Stealer, Troll. The question then would be, wait a second, what did you do in there, Light of Heaven? Maybe
Light of Heaven went in on full health, and
oh, he gets a kill. Look at
well,
that.
he does manage to take out Fata. That was pretty surprising,
Ooh.
really.
Hello, Miguel.
I mean, he's dead now.
Yeah.
1000%.
There's a lasso
no way
there
of
as well, but I don't think he needs
He
it.
doesn't even opt to lasso him. I mean, he almost could have, just out of a joke, you know? He could have just Ghost Sceptered and just stood around in front of him and be like, haha, you can't hit me.
Yeah,
At this point, things are really over for them. They've lost 2 sets of racks. They don't have a great lineup for defending against racks. I mean, they're going to take a significant amount of damage. They don't have great AoE. They have the Ancient Apparition, the Troll Warlord, and Nature's Prophet, and that's pretty much it as far as AoE. Nature's Prophet, I mean, Wrath of Nature, you don't exactly use it to defend your base very often.
Where did it go wrong for VirtusPro? Should they have been even more aggressive? Should they have won the mid lane harder for G?
I think they should have concentrated on specific areas. They were trying to go for they were trying to kill the Gyrocopter, they were trying to kill the Timbersaw, and they were trying to kill Miguel. They should have just said, right, we're going to put the AA on top of everybody, and then we're going to just kill Miguel like 3 or 4 times, and then we're going to go and kill the Timbersaw once or twice, you know? They should just really, really concentrate on their areas where they're strong, rather than trying to dominate the entire map at once, which is what they tried to do. I mean, they went for charges on the Gyrocopter, who's on his safe lane, with Mania as well as fucking Mad able to back him up, and people like the Timbersaw able to TP in. It's just, they're a little bit over-ambitious with how they fought it.
Yeah, and I also think, like, maybe not for going for Hand of Midas for resolution. If he went aggressive, like, if you got some early game items up and started fighting earlier, then maybe he would have been having a bigger impact in the game earlier on.
An item that they could have gone for this game that would have made a really significant difference would have been an Assault Cuirass, because, I mean, like I said before, they have 3 heroes that really want attack speed. In the meantime, though, Nature's Prophet, again, he has no way of trying to split push. Versus Fata, fucking Mad, as well as Miguel. They can all blink in, they're all very maneuverable heroes. I mean, Fata, he's playing basically the second most maneuverable hero in the game. I mean, there's not much you can do against that as far as split push and stuff, because he'll get to your lane and he will kill you off because he does a ton of damage as well.
Yeah, it's a scary streak for sure. I was actually quite surprised that Light of Heaven still had money to buy back. I mean, Light of Heaven, he has of course got his Hand of Midas, but if you look at his inventory, you don't really see that back. Of course, he died 10 times, that doesn't really help his cause. He is, however, still lower in net worth than the Enigma that was in the jungle, who's, by the way, going for a halberd. And right now, I think that VirtusPro might try to just go for a base race. I don't know
how they're going to base race if they can, because
I don't know either,
I mean,
but they're
I
just
guess they can because they have G. G's going to have to put up the best base defense ever and have a perfectly timed battle trance.
Oh no, they're not going to go for base race, by the way.
At the very least, they don't have Glyph, but yeah, they're not going to try and base race, they're going to try and defend their base. It's only the last racks though. Miguel's going to jump in, he's going to pull out G, they're going to kill him really fast up in this.
Yeah, even
And now
before the
Goblak
Spear
being gone on
Breakers
by
here.
Fata as well, held down in the back of the fight. Light of Heaven's trying to turn up here, but he's got virtually no ability to do anything, and he goes down as well.
Yeah, we have Fata drop
Buyback,
still,
and they
so
do
that's a
manage
good
to
one.
actually take out Fata, but I mean, it's an instant buyback from Quantic as well. You can say, haha, we can buy back and defend our base, but They're able to buy back and they're able to get to the enemy team very quickly. They're trying to chase after Mania here, but it's not the best person to try and focus down. I mean, he has Gravekeeper's Cloak. It dissolves off pretty fast, but it's still not the best person to try and be like, we'll burst you down.
And of course, chasing someone down when there's 2 buybacks is not really the smartest thing. We have got everybody of Quantic back here again in the mid lane. Also, Timber making his way over. Tier 3 tower already down. Fortification slightly too late. Link, lasso, resolution.
He's got the lasso.
Yeah, he's dead.
They're not even needing to use fucking Mad's Blink Black Hole. He's going to probably use it in a few seconds, but he's actually being charged by NS here.
Yeah, Ness trying to do what he can. He has got his BKB, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's just way too much damage coming off from Quantic. Team-wide, last Rex will go down.
Fucking Mad just throws out the black hole completely. I mean, it's a GG.
Because he could.
We knew that from a few minutes ago, really.
Yeah. It is a GG. That means that Quantic gets themselves an extra point. They were, of course, 1-1 in the StarSeries so far. They make themselves now out to be 2-1, so get themselves a bit of an extra win. VirtusPro so far, they weren't doing that bad, to be fair. VirtusPro is sitting on 3-4, but now dropped to 3-5. And the downside is, if you want to be in the top 4, you should normally have maybe about like maximum 4 losses. And right now, VirtusPro is sitting on 5. So we'll see how they deal with that.
I don't see a way that VirtusPro are making their lineup of players work right now. They have such big names, and it's really, really sad to see them go down. But admittedly, they go down to Quantic, who have also picked up a really strong roster here. So
yeah, and of course they have already faced up against the Alliance, so they don't need to do that anymore. Well, a lot of teams still have to do that. Which
does anyone want to face up Alliance?
Well,
is anyone excited to play against
maybe
Alliance?
Navi.
It must be horrible.
Maybe Navi.
It must feel like punching a brick wall. Because there's
tough.
no way of drafting against them. They always get the same heroes, no matter how you draft against them, and then they always do exactly the same thing and you lose.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and it's not always even like, okay, Alliance is amazingly strong at the moment, but it's not even always fun to watch their games because it's, you know, they're gonna win. Surprise!
Yeah, and they play the same stuff
Yep.
as well. It's always the same sort of lineup. It's very hard to draft against them because you're like, okay, we'll shut down Admiral Bulldog, and then he gets a kind of a hero that he's not known for, but he's still very strong on something like a Clockwork or a Bounty Hunter if you ban out all his heroes early on. If you don't ban those out, well, then you've got to worry about the fact that he's potentially the best Nature's Prophet or Lone Druid in the world.
Yeah, and
There's a lot of issues with going up against Alliance.
And you're gonna have to deal with Aki's Chen if you ban out Bulldog's heroes, but if you ban out Aki's heroes, then you're gonna have to deal with Bulldog's heroes. It's very tough, and I mean, then you don't even talk about Loda or S4 yet, right? I mean, it's insane. Or
Loda
EGM.
and S4 play virtually every hero in their respective roles. I mean, S4 can play practically any solo mid, and Loda, as long as he's supported well, can play any carry, so...
Yep. Of course, we are going to be back here with more Starlight tomorrow, and I will tell you which games we're going to see. We're going to start at 1800 CEST time, so that's an hour later than the starting time today. We're going to start off with NextKZ versus Empire, followed by Roxkiss versus KP, and then as last game for tomorrow is Ubels versus VirtusPro, or at least that is what the matchups are looking like right now. We might still have a change later on tonight, as teams, of course, have got a chance to... use a wild card and relocate their map to somewhere else, or reschedule, I should say, that's probably better. So, make sure you tune back in tomorrow, 1800 CST time, this channel. Of course, my co-caster for this last match was General Advance. Do you have any shoutouts or plugins, and where can people normally find you? Because, of course, you have casted so far almost every single Starlighter match as well. So where can people find you if they want to hear more about you?
If they want to see me, I will be on the Join Dota livestream ticker as GAdvance. You can also check out my Twitch TV channel, which is twitch.tv/setmygibs.
Double B.
Yeah, double B. I think that's how you spell Jibs.
But not everybody is from the UK.
Is it spelled different? Oh yeah, of course.
As in,
sorry, I forget.
Not everybody knows what jibs are. I don't know what jibs are.
It's a thing on a boat, I think. Kunka says it, so...
Oh.
It's where it comes from.
Okay.
Set my jibs. So thanks for watching, guys. As far as shoutouts is concerned, shout out to Ollie, because he originally live streamed on the channel and I stole it from him. Otherwise, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Okay, thank you for being here, of course, as well. And remember to also follow on Twitter, people. @Shiver Gaming is my Twitter. And GFans, do you have a Twitter?
I'm supposed to set up a Twitter. Several people have asked me,
you should.
And I haven't.
Okay.
I will do. It'll happen.
This will be on your to-do list.
I don't know what I'd put on Twitter.
Nothing. You first use it. You just to stalk people and realize what's going on in the scene. You should follow Vlad and then sometimes translate his tweets because he is the one with most insight on maybe player changes and stuff. Like if you want to know about roster changes, he's the one to be at. Like that was, for example, after
really
TI3, you should have followed Vlad because then you know what's going on in the CIS scene.
It sounds like you make Vilat out to be a sort of gangster. Like,
Yep.
You ask Vilat what's going on.
He'll know.
Like,
He'll know.
he knows what's down on the streets of Dota.
Yep. That's true, though. That's true.
All right. Well, thanks for watching, guys. I'll disappear off now.
Okay.
See ya.
See ya.
Mate.
And of course, I'm going to give you some music and commercials, so stick around if you want to support us using that. And otherwise, have a great night and be back here tomorrow at 1800 CST time. Laters.